Your lawn is yellow. You see it, your neighbors see it, the driver who passes by every morning sees it. You've been doing the only thing you know how to do, watering. You've added more water, extended the sprinkler cycles, even spent evenings with a hose soaking each yellow patch for 20 minutes, hoping that enough moisture would bring the green back. It hasn't. The yellow persists for weeks, maybe months, and no amount of water seems to revive the color. I'm going to explain why, and the reason will surprise you. Your lawn isn't yellow because it's thirsty. It's yellow because it's missing one specific thing, something that water, fertilizer, or sunlight can't replace. The solution sits on a shelf at your local pharmacy, not at the garden center or hardware store. It costs about $2 and can turn a yellow lawn dark green in less than a week. But I can't just hand you the answer without warning you. Using it incorrectly can make things worse, and there's a particular situation where it does the opposite of what you want. First, let's ask a question that will change how you view your lawn. What makes grass green? It sounds simple, but the real answer lies in a molecule called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment that captures sunlight and turns it into energy through photosynthesis. Without chlorophyll, there is no green color, no photosynthesis, and no energy. When a lawn turns yellow, the grass is failing to produce enough chlorophyll, exposing the underlying yellow leaf tissue. Why would grass stop making chlorophyll? There are 3 possible reasons, and only one is solved by water. The first is drought stress insufficient water to keep cellular processes, including chlorophyll production, running smoothly. This is the obvious answer, which is why most people reach for the hose. The second is nitrogen deficiency. Nitrogen is a key component of chlorophyll. So without enough nitrogen in the soil, the grass can't build chlorophyll quickly enough. That's why fertilizer, mostly nitrogen, makes grass turn green. The third reason, rarely discussed, is magnesium deficiency. Magnesium, the 8th element on the periodic table, is the single most important atom in the chlorophyll molecule. At the center of every chlorophyll molecule sits one magnesium atom. Without it, the molecule can't form, and the grass can't produce green pigment. No amount of water or nitrogen can compensate for a lack of magnesium. Think of it like building a car. You might have steel, rubber, glass, and everything else, but without an engine, it's just a sculpture. Magnesium is the engine of chlorophyll. You can have all the water and nitrogen in the world, but without magnesium, the grass simply cannot be green. Magnesium deficiency is one of the most common nutrient shortages in American lawns, yet almost nobody tests for it. The fertilizer industry has spent decades convincing homeowners that yellow grass means they need more nitrogen, so magnesium deficiency remains largely unnoticed. If the problem is nitrogen, fertilizer helps. If the problem is magnesium, fertilizer won't fix it. Now, how can you tell which issue you're facing? Examine a blade of yellow grass up close. Pull a blade from the lawn, get down on your knees, and look at it carefully. If the blade is uniformly yellow or pale green across its entire surface, that indicates nitrogen deficiency. The whole blade lacks chlorophyll because there isn't enough nitrogen. If you see yellow between the veins while the veins stay green, like green stripes on a yellow background, that's magnesium deficiency, known as intervenal chlorosis. The third pattern is brown, crispy grass, which signals drought stress. Yellow means the plant is alive but struggling to produce pigment. Brown means the plant is dehydrating or dead. So, uniform yellow. Nitrogen problem, yellow between green veins. Magnesium problem, brown crispy. Water problem. 3 symptoms, 3 solutions, and most people have been applying the wrong one for years. If you've been treating yellow grass with water and fertilizer without success, you probably have a magnesium deficiency that has persisted for a long time. The remedy is a product you can find at any pharmacy, Epsom salt or magnesium sulfate, MgSO. It's the same white crystalline powder used for soothing sore muscles in a bath. Epsom salt is about 10% magnesium and 13% sulfur by weight, both essential plant nutrients, but magnesium is the star that restarts chlorophyll production. A 2-pound bag costs between $1.50 and $3 at most drugstores, and it can treat an entire front lawn, possibly even the backyard, depending on size. There are 2 ways to apply it. Method 1 is a liquid spray, the faster option. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt in 1 gallon of warm water, stirring until no crystals remain. Pour the solution into a pump sprayer and spray evenly over the yellow lawn. Warm water speeds dissolution, but lukewarm tap water works fine. 1 gallon covers roughly 200 square feet, so a typical front yard will need 4 to 5 gallons. Apply in the early morning or late evening when the sun is low, allowing the magnesium to be absorbed before evaporating. This method delivers magnesium directly to leaf surfaces and roots, and you can see a color change in 3 to 5 days. Method 2 is a dry application, the lazy method that works just as well but takes a bit longer. Spread 2 pounds of Epsom salt per 1,000 square feet using a broadcast spreader, making 2 perpendicular passes for even coverage. After spreading, water the lawn lightly to dissolve the crystals into the soil. The magnesium then reaches the roots over the next few days. Results appear in 5 to 7 days, but the effect lasts longer because the magnesium is delivered to the root zone rather than just the leaf surface. If you want the fastest result, use the liquid spray. If you prefer a more sustained correction, use the dry method. For the best of both worlds, spray first for immediate color, then follow with a dry application a week later for long-term soil correction. It's important to note that Epsom salt isn't a miracle cure for every yellow lawn. It works brilliantly when the soil truly lacks magnesium, which is common in sandy soils that leach magnesium. Acidic soils with less available magnesium, and many regions of the southeastern United States, the Pacific Northwest, and parts of the Northeast. If your soil already contains sufficient magnesium, adding more won't make the grass greener. Excess magnesium simply passes through the soil unused. It won't harm the lawn at reasonable application rates, but it won't help either. And if the problem is nitrogen deficiency or drought, Epsom salt won't fix it. Magnesium without nitrogen is like an engine without fuel. That's why the diagnostic test matters. Uniform yellowing points to nitrogen deficiency, requiring actual fertilizer. Brown, crispy grass indicates drought, needing water. Yellow between green veins signals magnesium deficiency, where Epsom salt is the solution. If you've identified magnesium deficiency, here's what to expect after application. Days 1 through 3 show no visible change above ground, while the magnesium is absorbed and transported to the leaves, ramping up chlorophyll production. Days 3 through 5 bring the first subtle shift. The yellow tint recedes, especially in newer growth, and the grass looks less sick, though it may not be fully green yet. Days 5 through 7, the transformation becomes clear. The grass moves from yellow-green to a genuine green, though not yet a deep dark shade. The interveinal chlorosis pattern fades as magnesium reaches the chloroplasts and new chlorophyll molecules form. Days 7 through 14, especially if you followed the dry method, see the green deepen further. By day 14, the lawn can be darker green than a neighbor's who might be spending $40 a month on a fertilizer program while you spent about $2 once. I once tried combining Epsom salt with iron sulfate, ferric sulfate, another product I've discussed in earlier videos. Iron isn't at the center of the chlorophyll molecule, but it acts as a catalyst in the enzymatic reactions that build chlorophyll. Iron and magnesium deficiencies often occur together, especially in alkaline soils. Mixing 2 tablespoons of each per gallon of water and spraying the blend produced a dramatic result. Within 5 days, the grass wasn't just green. It was a deep, almost blue-green, the kind that makes drivers slow down to admire it. The combined application cost about $3, whereas professional lawn care companies charge around $200 for similar green-up treatments that contain the same chemistry under a fancy brand name. A few warnings are essential. First, never exceed the recommended application rate, 2 tablespoons per gallon for liquid, or 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet for dry. Over-application can create a magnesium-calcium imbalance, weakening grass blades and increasing disease susceptibility. Second, avoid using Epsom salt on soils already high in magnesium, such as certain clay soils or those derived from volcanic rock. A basic soil test from your local extension service costing $15 to $25 will tell you the magnesium level. Third, Epsom salt isn't a long-term solution for severely deficient soils. It leaches out with rain and irrigation. For chronic deficiencies, reapply every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season, or consider dolomitic lime, which slowly releases magnesium and calcium while raising soil pH. Finally, if you have pets that chew grass, the salty taste of fresh Epsom salt may attract them. While the salt is generally non-toxic in small amounts, large quantities can cause digestive upset. Keep pets off the lawn until the next watering or rain dissolves the surface crystals, usually a few hours. Below is a seasonal schedule that combines everything I've taught on this channel, creating a complete low-cost lawn care system. Early spring, apply corn gluten meal 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet as a pre-emergent weed preventer. Mid-spring, test soil pH. If it's below 6, start a baking soda treatment at 1 teaspoon per gallon, applied bi-weekly. Late spring, apply iron sulfate to kill any broadleaf weeds that have emerged, a 1 cup per gallon, sprayed across the lawn. Early summer, use the Epsom salt plus iron sulfate combo, 2 tablespoons of each per gallon for maximum green. If brown patches appear during heat waves, apply a soap and molasses mixture, 1 teaspoon soap plus 2 tablespoons molasses per gallon directly on the patches. Late summer, apply corn gluten meal again for fall weed prevention. Late fall, overseed any bare spots, then give the lawn one final Epsom salt application for a magnesium boost before winter dormancy. The total annual cost for this system is roughly $62, compared with $600 to $1,200 for a professional lawn care program that uses synthetic fertilizers, pre-emergence, post-emergence, aeration, and overseeding. The cheap system builds soil health rather than merely masking symptoms, delivering better results over time. If you've been watching from the beginning, you now have the full foundation pH correction.